Long Island now finding itself at the center of a national debate over transgender rights.
Governor Kathy Hochul, State Attorney General Letitia James, and the New York City Liberties Union vowing to take legal action against the executive order signed by Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman banning transgender women from competing in county sports facilities. So the president of the LGBT Network, Dr. David Kilnick, joining us this morning to weigh in on this issue. Mr. Kilnick, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about this, right? The executive order is the latest in a series of restrictions on transgender athletes. We've seen this play out across the country, but New York State law specifically upholds transgender rights. So the question here is the ban in Nassau County even legal, and does it have legs to move forward?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a good point. I don't think the ban is legal in New York. I mean, New York State has comprehensive and explicit laws that protect the transgender community in all aspects of their lives for equal participation, including sports. So, what yesterday amounted to was just a political stunt. And I shouldn't say just, because, this really impacts the lives of our trans youth who are bullied and victims of violence at significantly higher rates than their cisgender counterparts. So it was just really a display of unnecessary hate here in Nassau County in Long Island. We expect to see these things in Tennessee and Alabama, and we shouldn't see them anywhere in the United States. But here in New York, here in Long Island, I mean, it was unreal to see it.
Yeah, but the thing is, Nassau County school officials, they don't have any choice, right, but to comply with this order if they want to use any of those public facilities. So do the teams that have transgender female players have any legal recourse moving forward?
I believe so. I believe what we're going to see is our Attorney General, really lay down the law like she did with Trump, and enforce New York State law. I mean, I think also, we're going to see teams in Nassau County that are going to decide not to play on these county facilities, and they will look for other facilities to play on because they don't believe in discrimination. They believe that all of their athletes should have a fair chance to play, in their true gender identity. And this isn't an issue. This isn't an issue. No one has complained in Nassau County, and so this was just an act. It was just a political stunt. It really was, and it's a shame because it impacts the lives of our transgender kids, their parents and families. And we need to redirect our efforts to protecting our transgender youth who are more at risk, like I said before, for bullying. We need to have programs that are going to stop that bullying, not to have executive orders like Blakeman did yesterday that will only increase the bullying.
And Governor Kathy Hochul, echoing what you're saying about the political stunt, saying this was political football. The executive order, though, doesn't apply to transgender boys playing on boys and men's teams. So if with your understanding, why is there a disparity here?
I don't think Blakeman had a clue what he was doing yesterday. He couldn't answer anything. In fact, he had to bust someone in from Ohio to talk, not even, Nassau County residents. And so, it's this notion, I guess, that men are stronger than women, and that they have an unfair advantage, meaning trans women have an unfair advantage when they participate in women's sports. And that's a legitimate concern that people may have. But study after study shows that there is no competitive advantage for trans women. And the International Olympic Committee, think about that, right, says that trans athletes and trans women should be able to participate in all sports, regardless of their gender identity. So, if I'm going to listen to anyone, I'm going to listen to the IOC, not Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman on this.
So the LGBT Network, it's based out of Long Island and Queens, right?
Correct.
Okay, so how many athletes is this actually affecting?
Yeah, it's a small amount. We have a number of trans athletes and LGBT as well that participate in our programs and that go to high school in our region here. But if it impacts one, that's one too many. And also it impacts those who are not trans as well, because they have their friends, families, brothers, sisters, cousins, that are trans too. So it really impacts everyone, but it really puts the target now on the back of trans kids. And we need to make sure that all of us, not just the LGBT network, that all of us join together to make sure that our trans kids are safe.
So I guess the question here, Dr. Kilnick, the ban comes at a time when violence against the trans community is at an all-time high, right? So
Correct.
You're talking about some legal action. Can we expect legal action from your organization or someone to prevent the ban from actually being enforced?
Absolutely. strongly believe that, we'll have our Attorney General that will put a squash to this. But in the meantime, we have a number of attorneys that reached out to us. We're putting together a team ready to challenge this ban. We're not going to wait one more day for our trans youth to continue to be bullied and victimized.
Yeah, what are next steps then? Have any of the athletes reached out to you to talk about what they're going to do? I mean, because right now they can't play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a few people that have reached out that said they're very concerned, right? Those that are either playing or those that have an interest in getting involved in their sports teams. And so, a lot of trans youth sometimes don't get involved in anything because they're, for the fear of being safe in whatever, institution or sports team it may be. So, the immediate impact is, we've heard from people is like, oh my God, here in New York, I've seen this going on. I've seen this in Alabama. I've seen this in Tennessee. I've seen this in Florida. But here in Nassau County, yeah, and I think we all need to wake up that it's happening in our own backyard too. And we need to be, just as diligent to be out there to stop this.
All right, Dr. Kilman, keep us posted on the next steps, okay? It's an important conversation to keep in the forefront. So appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you so much.